Hello, I am back with another show-off video of a Blu-ray set that is in my collection, and I am very happy. I'm recording this on the 13th of November, but to me, it feels like Christmas because I have in my hands the Blair Witch Project, the limited edition set from Second Sight Films. Now this, how do I phrase that? The Blair Witch Project is a very divisive film. There are those, like me, who absolutely love this film and who have loved it since day one, seeing it in the theaters and seeing it many times on various versions of DVD and VHS over the years. And there are also those who aren't a fan for whatever reason. Now, the Blair Witch Project is one of those films, obviously I've just said I love the film. I kind of get why people don't like it. The usual reasons are people don't like the shaky cam, the whole, the documentary style thing. I kind of like that, but I get if people don't like it. And then there's the other aspect where you never see anything. For me, that is part of the reason I love the film. I find seeing far, far less, or not seeing anything at all, is far more effective than seeing some animatronic or visual effect showing the witch. I love the fact that we don't really see the witch. And I'm also presuming that anybody who's watching this video has already seen the film. It is 25 years old, so I'm going to spoil it. So, beware. I'm also not expecting this video to change anybody's opinion. If you don't like the Blair Witch Project, this video is not going to change your opinion of it. It'd be nice if it did. And if you love the film, then you will still love the film. I would be quite upset if, after watching my video of this set, you decide you don't really like the Blair Witch Project and you throw your DVDs in the bin. But I'm not out to persuade anybody that this is an amazing film. For me, I think it is an amazing film. And this is an amazing box set, which I haven't even opened yet. Look at this. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's heavy as well. I'm going to drop it on the desk just so you can hear the thump. Look at that. That is solid. Shall I do it again on the other side just for dramatic effect? You ready? You ready? Wow. Now, I have seen the contents of the film and the discs themselves. I was fortunate enough to get a review disc sent by Second Sight, so I do know what is in this set. However, I don't know what the art looks like or the book or how the discs are packaged. Because I'm nice, I've saved it to open. Now, usually I'll have a little pair of nail scissors and I'll open it, but nope, today I have a little Hellraiser cube box, which I am going to use. It kind of seems fitting that I use this little dimensional box to open the Blair Witch Project set. Now, this set is available. This is the limited edition set. There is a standard set which will just contain the discs in the plastic box. The contents, as in the special features and the versions of the films and the commentaries and stuff you get, are the same in each version. It's just you don't get all the fancy stuff. And let's see how well this little Hellraiser cube does open it. It might not. I've never used the Hellraiser cube to open a Blu-ray box before. Let's go for it, shall we? Let's just rip it off. There we go. This is new artwork. I'm probably going to pronounce Timothy's name wrong, so I do apologize. Timothy Pittides, Pittides. I may get your written name wrong, Timothy, but your artwork is amazing. So however your name is pronounced, you've done a bang-out job with this artwork. So what we get here is a solid outer casing. We do get, and this is pretty standard with the Second Sight limited editions, we do get the paper sleeve, which has all the special features and stuff. We shall come back to that. I'm going to try and do a lot of it from memory, but I may actually refer back to this. So we get a cellophane. Now, a lot of people will buy these sets and just keep them on shelves and store them up for 5 years or 10 years or whatever. But I think that whilst toys are meant to be played with, amazing looking Blu-ray sets and books and art cards are meant to be seen. So I've opened it on camera for you because that's how nice I am. So what we get in here, there's the solid box. Let's put that up at the back. I'm working on limited space here, so we get the discs, which I will go into probably last, I think, because there's a lot of stuff on that. Now we do get a 184-page hardback book. This is solid. This is like, can I say a proper book? You know what I mean. So you put it on a bookshelf, it's hardback, and it contains a whole bunch of essays. I have to say apparently because I've not read it, but it's a beautiful looking book. So we get all, you know, there's the chapters there. I'm not going to sit and read this on the video, although I don't mind. If you want to grab some snacks and, you know, sit down and chill, put the lights out, I will read to you. In late July 1999, no, I'm not going to read to you. It's fine. But this is a gorgeous book containing photos and obviously lots of writing about one of my favorite horror films of all time. Other ones being Night of the Living Dead, The Omen, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, and a few. So we got it's a really well made put together book. Now we do get the timeline of the Blair Witch Project as well, which will go into the whole legend. It goes right back to 1785, as you'll see, and give you the highlights. She was one of the crew, apparently, this wonderful lady here. One of the many things I love about the Blair Witch Project, it's not just the film itself, but I do adore the film. I just love the way it was made. I love the way it was marketed. I love the fact that I did genuinely encounter people who thought this was real. Yes, it's not just a myth. People go, oh, nobody thought it was real. Yes, they did. I've spoke to people who genuinely thought it was real. So this book will just go into a whole bunch of stuff. It's beautiful. It feels really good as well. It feels really solid. Love it. And then what we've got here, this is Heather Donahue's journals. I really wish, and I know there's been news stories late about how the cast were less than happy and so on. I don't really want to go into all those details. That is sort of covered in some of the special features and stuff. But can we just say that Heather, Josh, and Mike did an amazing job in that film? They really, really did. I rewatched this film like 3 times the other week because there are 3 versions on this disc, and I mean, the film still stands up, but the performances by Heather, Mike, and Josh are just top notch. And then when you go into how the film was made, it's just kudos to all 3 of them. They were absolutely amazing. So what we got here is Heather's journals. Now, I've heard people talking about these. I was listening to a podcast about Blair Witch. Her handwriting's amazing, by the way. And they kept referring to Heather Donahue's journals, and I'd never read them, never seen them. And now I can, because I have them in my hand. Amazing. It feels like an actual, you know, notebook as well. It's really cool. So we've got all of that. Again, I'm not going to read all of that on camera, but it's a cool looking journal. Do apologise for slight flicker now and again. That's one of my spotlights seems to be misbehaving. So we get the journal, we get the hardback book, we get some art cards. I'm always a fan of the art cards, and as I have with previous Second Sight videos, I've got the knack down. He says, I'll probably ruin it now because I'm an idiot. And I'm working on limited space, unfortunately. Yeah, let's just forget I said I have the knack, shall I? Oh no, there we go. Do the other side. There we go. So what do we get in these art cards? Let's have a look. We get 3 art cards. So we get the iconic artwork from the poster. We get a really cool one there. And then we get a very sort of creepy, proper arty one. I don't know which one my favorite is. I mean, the poster's great. I've seen the poster quite a lot of time. I'm probably going to go for that one, I think. I think that's my favorite one. You get 3 really, really cool art cards. Let's put all this up here just to sort of show this set off a little bit more. I will pan the camera bit as well. There we go. Just so we can fit all that stuff in. And you're welcome for the close-up on my arm as well. So now we get to the disc packaging. There's cardboard sleeve. So I'm guessing that the standard edition will come in the standard Blu-ray packaging, so it won't come in this fancy stuff. And in here, we get 2 discs. Let's just put that one the right way up. There we go. So we take that back. It's just standard black cover. Now let's focus on, let's zoom back in again to disc number 1. Now on disc number 1, we get 3 versions of the film. Now, just so I get the technology part right as well, there's 3 versions of the movie on disc 1. Now, for those of you who think, oh, finally we're getting a festival cut, you are getting a festival cut. But I've seen some people who are under the impression that the festival cut is like 2.5 hours long. It's a whole hour longer than the film. Not correct, unfortunately. I thought it might be because I asked somebody else. I'm very curious to see what this festival cut is. They came back and said, oh, it's an hour longer. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get this set. I popped the disc in the player, went straight to the festival cut, checked the running time. The running time of the festival cut is 83 minutes. That's UK running time. That is only 2 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. But it's not a bad thing. It's just somebody was under the impression that the festival cut is a super long version. But we will get to that soon. So what you get on this, you get pretty much 2 versions of the film. You get the theatrical cut, which is the 81 minutes. You get the festival cut, which is 83 minutes. I genuinely couldn't find where the extra 2 minutes were. Who knows? I didn't see them. I didn't see it beginning. Didn't see it then. Didn't really notice it. So if anybody does notice what these extra 2 minutes are, do let me know. But I did check. But I spent like a day and a half just immersing myself in all the content on these 2 discs. There is so much stuff on this. It's absolutely incredible and wonderfully insane. And the last thing I was trying to do was to find where these extra 2 minutes were. So I think by the end of the second day, I was a bit like Heather, Mike, and Josh when I'm like, I need to go to a hotel and sleep. So yeah, 2 versions, theatrical and festival. Let's focus on the theatrical one for now. You do get 2 commentaries on the theatrical version. The first commentary is the commentary that's been released before. That is the one featuring the co-directors, Daniel Merrick and Eduardo Sanchez. Then you also get producer Rob Cowley and producer Greg Hale, and you get a co-producer Mike Manillo. That is a commentary that has been released before. It is a commentary that is on this version of the film, the DVD, and I'd heard that commentary before. It's good commentary. If there is a downside to that commentary, it is the fact that they will often refer to, oh, well, there was a longer scene here, and there was a scene that we cut out here, and there was a bit that we shot but we didn't use. And so when I was listening to that first commentary, I'm like, I really want to see all this stuff that you've shot, that you've just cut out. I really want to see the super duper long Blair Witch Project. Generally not a fan of deleted scenes, but when the producers and the directors are teasing me by going, oh, there was a longer bit here and there's a longer bit there, it didn't annoy me, but I'm like, I really want to see this extra stuff. But more about that very, very soon. The second commentary on disc 1, and this whole set from Second Sight, it does so many things with it that generally, and I'm going to say I'm usually not a fan of. Now focus on the word usually, will you? The first thing is, I'm usually not a fan of listening to commentaries by people that were not involved in the film, right? Usually, let's just keep reminding yourself of the word usually. But I wanted to check out the second commentary. Now, this commentary is by Alexandra Heller-Nicholas and Josh Nelson, who were not connected with the Blair Witch Project. But my God, did they know their stuff about the Blair Witch Project. And even though I thought I'd already watched the film twice. I'd already listened to the producers and directors' commentary. I'd already watched the making of, more about the making of very, very soon. And I thought, well, I'm just going to check out a few minutes of this commentary just to get a feel of what Alexandra and Josh sound like and what they're talking about. And before I knew it, I'd watched the full film again with their commentary. It's absolutely fascinating. They know so much about the making of the film that isn't really covered in the other content on this. So usually I'm not a fan of listening to commentaries by people not involved in the film. With the Blair Witch Project, I was a fan of the commentary by people not involved with the film, and I'll listen to it all. So there you go. So that is what we get on disc 1. So just to give you a bit of a roundup there, it does say it there, but I say most of this is from memory that I'm doing. So disc 1, you get the restoration, and you get the festival cut. And the festival cut, there's something about it was restored from, this is the part where, so the restoration is from the high 8 videotapes and the 16mm film elements. This restoration was supervised by the people behind the Blair Witch Project, so the producers and directors. You also get the original release version, which is the same version of the film, but it's just not restored. So it depends. I put both versions on, and to be honest, I didn't really notice too much difference of it. So this covers disc 1. So you get the film, you get the festival cut, you get the theatrical cut, and you get a restoration for that one. And obviously you get the 2 commentaries. Now we go over to this second disc, this second absolute gem. Now I'm not going to fib. When I got sent the review discs, which aren't these, review discs are generally just white discs with the content on it, but they don't look all fancy like this one does. So when I got sent over the review disc, I went straight to disc 2. Now, why did I go straight to disc 2? Well, firstly, because I've seen the film many, many times over the years, and I absolutely love the movie. But on disc 2, there is a feature, and I love making ofs. I absolutely adore making of documentaries. Do you know what I love more than making of documentaries? It's when they say it's a feature-length making of documentary. And I know a lot of the stuff about how they made the Blair Witch Project over the years and how they took them off into the woods with GPSs and shook their tent in the middle of the night and started cutting their food supplies down. I know all that stuff. However, watching this making of documentary, and to say feature length is kind of an underestimate, really, to be fair, but I'll mention that in a minute. I learned so much. It is possibly one of the best making of documentaries of a film that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot. I love making of documentaries. I don't know if it's the best, because some of the really amazing ones like Dangerous Days for Blade Runner and some of the other stuff that if you're not familiar with Charles de Lauzirika, he is amazing with his making ofs. This isn't a Charles de Lauzirika one. This is Jed Shepherd. Jed Shepherd, who's connected with Host, Dashcam. He's obviously a huge Blair Witch fan, and he has written and directed this 2.5-hour documentary about the Blair Witch Project. Yeah, I said that right. That wasn't a vocal typo. 2.5 hours, 150-minute making of. I put that on, I think about 7 o'clock at night, and I could have easily watched that till midnight. It was the first thing I watched on the set, and no offense to the movie and the commentaries, but it's the best thing on the set as well. Jed has done an amazing job, and I love the fact that the filmmakers of the Blair Witch Project must have just recorded everything when they were making the film, because there is so much archival footage of them just sitting around tables discussing what they're going to do, how the film's going to work. There's a ton of footage of them going to Sundance, trying to get into Sundance, taking the videotape of the movie, and there's the scene of them kissing the VHS. We've all done that, haven't we? It is so in-depth. It is brilliant. So Jed Shepherd, I don't think you're going to watch this, but if you do, oh my God, you need to do more making-ofs, because this one is fantastic. So that is 150 minutes long. So do make sure you do check out the making-of on this disc too. Also, just in case there's not enough on there for you, there is a featurette called The Blair Witch Project: Analog Horror in a Digital World by Mike Munzer. Now let's rewind back to the moment when I said I'm usually not a fan of watching stuff that is by people who weren't involved in the film. Obviously, I'm not referring to the making of, because that does feature everybody that was involved in the making of the film. But these sort of digital essays and stuff, usually not my bag. Not saying they're not good. I'm just saying it's usually not the sort of special feature that I head for. But I thought I will check it out, and my God, that was great too. So it's well done, Mike. Another thing that I'm usually not a fan of, I'm saying usually not a fan of and then overruling absolutely everything that I'm saying, is deleted scenes. But there are some deleted scenes, and I thought, well, let's just see what they look like, how short they are. Now, the way they've constructed the deleted scenes on this second site set, it's pretty much a play all option. So I pressed play all. I think this was probably about 10 o'clock at night or something like that. And by just after 11:30, I'd finished watching all the deleted scenes, and my God, they're amazing. It felt like, because they all seem to be in order, other than maybe a couple of scenes at the end of the deleted scenes collection, they all seem to be in chronological order. So it's as if you're watching a whole nother movie, and it's fascinating. So then after watching all those deleted scenes, I went back and I watched the movie, The Blair Witch Project, again, and it made it even better because I knew where some of the deleted scenes slotted in, and I understood the characters a bit more. So it's like an hour and a half, or just over an hour and a half of deleted scenes on this disc too. It's just, I can't get over how packed it is. There is also a 45-minute documentary called The Curse of the Blair Witch. Now, if you look into the Blair Witch Project itself, originally it was going to be a documentary about these kids that went missing, and within this documentary was going to be the footage that actually became the Blair Witch Project film. But the filmmakers started watching some of the footage of Heather, Mike, and Josh walking around the woods, and like, do you know what? This works better as a film on its own. Let's not bother with the documentary stuff. But they ended up using the documentary stuff as some of the marketing, and that became Curse of the Blair Witch. So it's about 45 minutes long, and that's really good. I didn't rewatch that on this disc. I will be doing that soon. I'd seen that previously, and it is actually on the original, the original DVD that I have. There's some alternate endings in there. There is a Cannes 1999. This is an archive one, obviously. It's a director's interview, which is funny because at one point, partway through, somebody drops off some McDonald's for the filmmakers, and yet they carry on talking. I'd be like, can we do this interview after? I've got Big Macs to eat. But nope, these professional filmmakers do carry on and ignore their McDonald's. The smell must have been driving them insane. And that is pretty much it for the special features. I don't want to say it's pretty much it. That is an absolute stacked disc, and it's a gorgeous looking set. So my recommendations, other than, yes, you must buy this box set because you get all this really cool stuff with it. My recommendation is, and obviously you've got to love the film to be able to go after the set anyway, is make sure you watch Jed Shepherd's making of, 150 minutes. Do make sure you watch the deleted scenes, because it is like you're watching a whole nother movie, which then adds to the original movie anyway. The commentaries are worthwhile. It's the second time I've listened to the producers and the director's commentary over the years, and it's still fascinating. But the documentary is, I think the documentary by Jed Shepherd is probably the cherry on the top of this beautiful cake made of sticks. It's really, really impressive. The film looks great. It sounds great. It doesn't suffer from the restoration. I know a lot of people have commented, if you take a film that was made to look grainy, that was made to look like it was shot on VHS, and then you upgrade it to HD or whatever they've upgraded it to, that it kind of loses some of its power. Not the case with the Blair Witch Project. It still looks amazing. It sounds amazing. I did make the mistake of watching the film, and it still chills me to the bone, this movie. So let's say I love it, and it still creeps me out every time I watch it. I made the mistake of watching it when I was in the house on my own. And so I'd spent maybe 5-6 hours in one session watching lots of Blair Witch content, and then had to switch the lights off and go to sleep. Not the wisest move I've ever made. Thankfully, I didn't end up with any nightmares, but it could have gone horribly wrong for my psyche. So a huge thank you to Second Sight, a huge thank you to Jed Shepherd, a huge thank you to everybody involved in the making of the Blair Witch Project. Like I said, this video is not going to change your mind if you don't like the movie, but if you do love the movie, I cannot recommend this set enough. So do check it out, and apologies for the slightly longer video. Usually these unboxing videos are about 10-15 minutes, but I've just realized I've rattled on for 27 minutes. So, should I end the video like this and just point it at a corner? I don't know. I'm just going to end it with a nice slow fade out, I think. Enjoy. Take care. Don't get lost in the woods.